Definitely started off strong in this 2020 format in Sword and Shield. So really excited to see how this one pans out. It is, of course, a rematch. Graham didn't get there at North America, so it could be time for him to settle the score, or Wolfe could just continue to establish that he is going to be better than Graham consistently, and we'll see. I think there's going to be a lot riding on this match, not just for the bracket.
Yeah, it's definitely a rivalry developing there, particularly as they're going head-to-head again. And I don't know about you, Adam, but I'm excited. I think we should get right into this game. The leads are out on the field here. For Graham, it's going to be that Snorlax with the Incineroar, whereas Wolfe bringing his own Snorlax, but this time paired up with the Amedee, whose Psychic Surge is out on the field.
Yeah, I like that both players have a Snorlax, actually, because I think we're going to get to see two different executions of Snorlax. Of course, Snorlax has been popular for a number of years now, really finding not a niche, but a staple role in the metagame by belly drumming and being able to just cause such an offensive pressure on your opponent. Of course, when your opponent's got one as well, you do have to worry about it coming back to get you, but they've both decided to support them differently. Indeedee usually there to kind of slow your opponent down, while Incineroar's there to just open doors, I think. So it's going to be interesting to see exactly how Graham decides to play this. I think that Psychic terrain that the Indeedee brought with it could change things up, of course. Blocking that priority move, blocking one of Incineroar's favourite moves in Fake Out, makes him play it a little bit differently.
Yeah, I like the way that you kind of shut down the Fake Out from that Incineroar, and Indeedee there, revealing itself to have this Safeguard. I really like that, as we've seen a big change in the meta at the moment for Snorlax, running Yawn quite often on that as well. So going for the Safeguard will prevent the Pokemon on Wolfe's side from going to sleep. So it's good to just get that field prepared there for Wolfe. I see the Incineroar's return back to his trainer, so it gives Graham the opportunity here to start switching up his ball position a little bit. Like we said before, the Incineroar not in its best position here. Yes, it's got an Intimidate off against that Snorlax, but one may not be enough if Wolfe decides to click that belly drum button. So we need to make sure that if you're Graham, that Incineroar is going to be back safe, able to come out and Intimidate later on.
You really do need to stack up the attack drops if it's going to be some really good, way to negate the belly drum. It does bring out Milotic, which kind of is something he's probably a little more comfortable on. And Graham, not the most common boosting move on Snorlax. There's always a debate between belly drum and curse. Just decides to set up the curse, so he gets a boost to his attack, and he's managed to help out his defense a little bit. So that might come in handy against Wolfe's Snorlax, who was just getting that belly drum pretty much free of charge. There's no real drawback to him doing that. He only took a bit of damage from U-turn, and as expected, the berry gets consumed, and he's looking pretty healthy already. So a pretty slow turn, both players trying to set up, get their Snorlax in the position they want, but it'd be curious to see how Graham can use that change that he got, that quick pivot through the U-turn on the Incineroar.
Yeah, I like that turn one, and like you said, it is very much a sort of slow defensive play here. Both the Snorlaxes are set up. You've got a really high offensive pressure on Wolfe's side with that belly drum Snorlax, and on Graham's side, yes, it's got the defense boost and the attack boost, but also crucially, lowering its speed means that if Trick Room does go up, then it is going to be in a more prominent position, because slow Pokemon, they love that Trick Room environment. It's something Snorlax loves anyway, but it's going to be interesting to see if Trick Room is going to be a play that comes into this game later on.
Yeah, we do see Wolfe weighing up his options here, really back and forth between his move selection, something we don't usually get to see. Graham is going to keep repositioning Incineroar coming back in place of that Milotic. Wants to get another Intimidate down. It's not going to help too much against the belly drum, but at least it's something. Every little helps when you're trying to weaken the damage that Snorlax is doing. And it looks like we're going to start off with our first boost of the game in the Gigantamax form. No shocks here. Once you've got your boost up, you want to start doing as much more as you can with this Snorlax.
Exactly. If we thought a belly drum Snorlax was offensive pressure, let's Dynamax it, or Gigantamax it as well. It gets the little tree up there on its belly. Going to be able to deal out some really big damage, but of course Graham still has access to his Dynamax as well, and I would not be surprised here. Of course, I know the Incineroar switched in, but it's going to be the Gigantamax as well here on the Snorlax. So both these Snorlaxes, big and offensive here on the field. We've got to bear in mind that defense boost though as well on Graham's one. That could be very interesting going forward. And I wonder if this Indeedee is going to maybe start doing some redirection. No, instead just goes for the Psychic, does a little bit of chip, boosted of course by that Psychic terrain into the Snorlax. As the Snorlax on Wolfe's side goes for a big G-Max replenish into the Incineroar that did switch in. It also found itself a cheeky little Figgy Berry that of course is going to come in very useful, and Graham now has no more access to any more of those Intimidate switch-ins. G-Max replenish coming out from one Snorlax into another, but you can really see the bulk of that Snorlax on Wolfe's side. Manages to take that really well, and also munches on that Figgy Berry. It just got as well So looking to be in a really strong position here for Wolfe, being able to outspeed as well.
Getting those berries is going to help, and that's kind of the drawback of Curse, I think, in this matchup. Yes, you get an attack and a defense boost, and that's really nice, but you kind of concede to the other Snorlax. It's usually not a problem. Usually you're attacking things that are completely different speed to you anyway, but this is one of those very niche situations where maybe the Curse is going to hurt a little bit, and getting the berry back on Wolf's side with G-Max Replenish as well, really, really helpful, really kind of causing Graham a problem. If he missed the berry, then it would have been a lot lower, it would have been a lot more manageable, but now, Wolf Snorlax is looking so healthy and is going to be given an opportunity to grab itself a berry before Graham can really strike back with any significant damage.
Yeah, Ludicolo here just going for a protect on the field, maybe doesn't want to take another Psychic from that Indeedee, but instead just going for the redirection here, gonna use Follow Me as the G-Max Replenish comes out from the Snorlax on Wolf's side, goes right through the protect, basically says to Ludicolo, why did you even bother clicking that button? I can OHKO you anyway throughout. Just showing sort of the damage that these G-Max Replenishes can do once you've got a belly drum up. Of course, it's going to be a G-Max Replenish coming out from the Snorlax on Graham's side as well, going into the Indeedee, revealing that it's got the Focus Sash on there, so Indeedee is going to be safe to go for another redirectional turn going forward if Wolfe desires.
Yeah, and I think this Indeedee is going to be causing a lot of problems. It's been on the field since the start of the game, and it's only just been brought down to its Focus Sash. It's managed to do so much by providing that terrain, setting up the safeguard, making Graham, change his game plan a little bit from a potential yawn. And of course the Follow Me pressure, really an issue. It's bringing the pressure, but it's not even going to do it this turn and just start attacking.
Yeah, Wolfie here, going to take the Muddy Water from the Milotic that switched in. Going to get a accuracy drop as well. That could affect it later on in the game. But of course, the reduced to Focus Sash Indeedee there isn't going to be able to survive taking the Muddy Water. But it does give Wolfe now the opportunity to switch in one of his Pokemon in the back and apply some more offensive pressure going forward. Going to be going for the G-Max Replenish once again, this time targeting down that Milotic that switched in, and again, picking up a really clean one-hit KO. I really like the way Wolfe has just been ignoring the Snorlaxes on Graham's side and just constantly picking away at the partner Pokemon, particularly as the Snorlax isn't belly drummed up on Graham's side. As you can see, it's just not dealing the same offensive output as the one on Wolf's side is doing. So Wolfe able to kind of safely ignore it, just keep whittling away at the rest of the support Pokemon, so that Graham's kind of really limited then when the Dynamite's turns are over.
Yeah, and I think Wolf's done a fantastic job here with that G-Max Replenish, getting berries back pretty consistently, and kind of showing, I think, an answer to the debate, do you want a Curse or do you want a Belly Drum? I really do think that Belly Drum has just shown itself to be a little bit better. In this match, in particular, as you mentioned, just taking out those partner Pokemon, leaving that Snorlax saying, hey, I know your Snorlax doesn't deal that much damage, so I'm happy to leave you there for a little bit, and I'm just going to deal with any kind of support you've got. While he's been doing that, Graham's just been wailing away on the Snorlax on Wolf's side and just not getting there. The fact that Wolf's consistently got the berry back, he keeps healing, he doesn't feel in danger at all, and now Wolfe has, 2v1 and he's going to cause problems with it.
Yeah, particularly when you've got that ally switch as well, that just causes more mind games than I could handle as a player, and a critical hit as well just really wraps this up here for Wolfe, showing a really dominant fashion, taking game one really quickly and really cleanly.
Yeah, that was perfectly executed from Wolfe there. Absolutely no surprise that as the belly drum went up, Graham didn't have an answer. And, he used the 3 Dynamax turns fantastically. Every turn was such good value for him. Then it kind of proceeded to be a bit of a problem where Graham couldn't strike back. So I think if Graham wants to get in the game, he's going to have to make some adaptations.
Yeah, he's got to stop that Snorlax in its tracks, whether it's just a way of preventing the belly drum or a way to maybe try and get enough damage so that it can't get the belly drum up, if that makes sense. So then you've whittled away at the health, and that means Wolfe has to change his strategy sort of mid-game. But that's where Indeedee makes a really nice partner, because when you look at a lot of Graham's team, there's a lot of fake out on there with the Incineroar and the Ludicolo, and the Psychic terrain stopping that from going off means that there's one less trick up Graham's sleeve to be able to counter that belly drum from going off. So I feel like he really needs to kind of go back, and maybe if he can't stop it going off, go for some really big offensive damage. Maybe something like the Dracozolt, dealing out some really big damage could really work for him. But of course, again, Indeedee can redirect these away. So they're actually a really good sort of duo there going on, Indeedee and Snorlax for Wolfe.
Yeah, I think the Indeedee Snorlax lead is going to be a problem for Graham to answer, to be honest. I mean, he doesn't really have a reliable way to shut down the Indeedee quickly, and we saw the amount of setup it bought. Safeguard, Psychic Terrain, just being able to cause problems with the follow me as well. It's going to be a bit of a nightmare. I think Graham's going to have to, dig deep in his team to find something. You do want something like a spread move, which would help. We saw Muddy Water on the Milotic, but we saw it just wasn't doing enough damage. Here comes the Milotic in the lead, alongside the Snorlax once again. You don't want to fall behind on that one, and Wolfe's changed it up. Even though he had such a comprehensive game 1, he's decided that game 2 wants to do something different, try and react to what Graham might have in store for him.
Yeah, I like this here. As you said, Milotic having access to Muddy Water, the spread moves here could be really critical, particularly as you need to try and break the sash on that Indeedee as well. One big powerful move is not going to pick up a KO. But the Hatterene, a Pokemon that is well known for setting up Trick Room and then going for its own Dynamax, causing some havoc with confusing the Pokemon. But actually, it looks like straight away there's going to be a Dynamax here from Wolfe.
Yeah, Dynamax on the Hatterene. Making sure that it's going to be able to deal the damage. Might not have even bought Snorlax in this game. Of course, Hatterene is going to be able to cause some problems. It does have a number of cool tricks up its sleeve when it gets its Gigantamax form. It looks like it's just going to be an offensive turn here from Wolfe. A psychic critical hit from the Indeedee. Milotic is going to try and weave in the Hypnosis, which hits. And it's up to the Hatterene now to see what it can do.
Yeah, that was quite risky there from Graham, knowing that the Indeedee has access to Safeguard, going for the blind Hypnosis. Not only could it have hit a Safeguard, but it also could miss. Hypnosis is not the most accurate move unless you've got a couple of coils in play. Snorlax going again straight for the curse here as Hatterene goes for the max Mindstorm, going to be boosted by the Psychic Terrain as well, and does a huge chunk of damage. So that Snorlax actually is able to pick up the KO, so removing it from the field straight away. If Wolfe does have his own Snorlax in the back as well, it's just again going to be sitting there in the battle of the Snorlaxes. But I feel like having the Gigantamax Hatterene there, able to deal out so much offensive pressure straight away, and being the Fairy type facing down against a Dragon type now, puts Wolfe in a really strong position.
I think it's a fantastic adaptation, to be quite honest with you. I think seeing how Graham played in game 1, how he was so reliant on the Snorlax, saying, you know what, I'm not even going to let you play, I'm not going to out-Snorlax you, I'm just going to knock you out, taking advantage of Psychic Terrain, and really putting on the damage with your Hatterene. So good. The Draco's ult's a change-up from Graham to bring a little more offensive pressure. But I'm pretty sure Hatterene has enough answers. Of course, this Indeedee is asleep right now. That's not ideal. We do see that Wolfe has the Snorlax, a little insight into his team that we don't usually get there. But it's probably going to be saved for the back. I think there's so much that Wolfe can do with just this Hatterene out right now that Graham's going to be really struggling to come back from that turn 1 loss of its Snorlax.
Yeah, bringing in the Dusclops here as well. Gonna have to take our Muddy Water, but no drops coming out here. Bolt Beak, however, coming out from the Dracozolt. Hatterene able to hang on and goes for the G-Max Smite here. Going to deal some huge damage against that Dracozolt. Actually picks up the KO straight away as it is super effective and will now confuse that Milotic as well. Just sort of the added effect here of this G-Max move can really put a spanner in the works here for Graham. The Life Orb there on the Hatterene as well, just going to whittle it down. So its HP is kind of on a ticking clock here. But if Hatterene can get through all of those Dynamax moves, it's going to put itself into such a strong position to pick up some KOs. Of course, Dusclops as well here could go for a Trick Room.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing to stop it, really. I don't think Whimsicott has reliable options to shut it down, and Milotic probably have to fish for a Hypnosis, to be honest, if it wanted to try and stop it from setting up the Trick Room. Wolfe looks like he's going to start leaning into that strategy with the Max Guard. Doesn't want anything happening to this Hatterene. It is going to be very, very slow, so very easy to pick off. And, we'll see some damage coming back out. It doesn't look like it's going to be ideal. Milotic does attack through Confusion, so the G-Max Smite not causing complete chaos in the following turn. This Dusclops very safe indeed.
Yeah, I also love this play here from Wolfe by eliminating that Snorlax really early on. A Snorlax that we know has Curse, and as we saw it, use it again in this game, reduce its speed. So that in a Trick Room environment, it's going to be in really the optimal position, most likely going first, just outspeeding everything. Removing that from play gives Wolfe the completely safe environment to set up that Trick Room. He now is in a position where the Hatterene's going to be really happy to fire out some big dazzling gleams, and we know that he's got that Snorlax in the back. Again, Pokemon that loves Trick Room, so he's really setting himself up here for sort of those end game plays. But Graham still has his Dynamax to use.
Yeah, I mean, he hasn't used it on Snorlax because it got knocked out so quickly. He didn't use it on Dracozolt either, wanted to try and keep that around a little bit longer. So it is the turn of Milotic to Dynamax. And of course, Milotic at full health, going to be getting a whole lot of health. Not going to be the easiest Pokemon to knock out. but it's definitely not going to be moving before the Hatterene and Dusclops have had a turn. Whimsicott keeping itself safe, so Wolfe really needs to be smart about it, and just, you know, spreading damage around with Dazzling Gleam when you're attacking first is never really a bad thing.
Yeah, exactly. He does a good bit of chip there to the Milotic. Of course, the Life Orb really working against the Hatterene at this stage, as Taunt is revealed here from the Dusclops going into that Milotic. Really good to shut down any potential hypnosises or coils going on, but as it's Dynamax, the sort of moves have, of course, completely changed into max moves, but Milotic not able to go for one on this occasion.
Yeah, that confusion, just limiting any potential big damage from that Milotic. That G-Max Smite coming back to cause a bit of a problem. And that's really, really unfortunate when you're in the Dynamax form. You've only got 3 turns to take advantage of it, and if you can't do anything in those 3 turns because you're confused, that's a lot of offensive pressure just removed from your side of the field very, very quickly. Hatterene's just going to keep up the pressure, though. It's going to be its last attack of the game, but it does manage to bring the Whimsicott all the way down to its Focus Sash with a big Psychic.
Yeah, Whimsicott really has been limited here with the Psychic Terrain up, of course, blocking any Prankster moves from coming out. I'm sure that Whimsicott would have loved to have gone for a Taunt or 2 into this Dusclops, but instead Dusclops is going to be able to pick up the KO against that Whimsicott by the double up from Wolfe. Just able to remove it from the field here, as the sort of confusion will keep going around with Milotic. It's something he doesn't necessarily have to worry about straight away. Max Geyser, however, coming through. Milotic manages to power through here, going into that Dusclops, not enough to pick up the KO. Honestly, the bulk of Dusclops is amazing. You can really see why it's one of the most popular Pokemon in the format at the moment. The Rain, of course, going to help out Milotic going forward if it's able to break through.
Yeah, I mean, that really shows why Dusclops is so good at what it does. But it also shows, I think, one of the issues with Milotic is people rely on it to get those boosts. And in this instance, it's not had any of them. It's not got that extra power. So even though it is quite big and hard to take down, it's really not that threatening. If that's what it did to the Dusclops, you think it's going to take a lot more. Of course, it does have the Rain boost now from the Max Geyser from last turn. That's going to help its damage output a bit. But it's still 3v1, and one of those Pokemon is a full health Snorlax on Wolf's side. So he's probably got a little bit of time. This will be the last turn of Dynamax and Milotic as well. So after that, you know, he's going to be struggling with the damage output. Snorlax, not afraid at all.
Yeah, exactly. Snorlax just doing what it did so well in game 1, going for that belly jump, going to eat its berry as well, putting itself nearly back up to full health as the Dusclops goes for a Nightshade. Not the best move. You like to use that sort of outside of Dynamax because you're really taking away about a quarter of the health, but every little helps here against that Milotic. As you can see, Snorlax, again, such a bulky Pokemon, able to really take that attack there, as Milotic shakes off the Taunt quite conveniently on the turn that it does go back down and can use some of those status moves.
Yeah, I mean, it would be nice if it could get them, but I don't know if Wolfe's going to give him that opportunity, to be quite honest. He is still playing in Trick Room, and no Protect from the Milotic means it's going to take this Double Edge. And Wolfe, a very quick 2-0, fantastic play in both games. Graham just wasn't able to keep up, I don't think.
Exactly, it looked like maybe there wasn't a Protect there on that Milotic, because you could potentially try and stall out the Trick Room, go for some Muddy Waters,